12. Just when you thought there was nothing in this insane NBA universe that could surprise you anymore, the Rockets and Thunder played a Game 7 in which James Harden couldn't buy a bucket and Lou Dort couldn't miss. Harden shot 4 of 15 from the field and 1 of 9 from behind the arc, while Dort, whose hot hand was engulfed in flames by night's end, finished with a game-high 30 points after dropping 6 long-range bombs out of absolutely nowhere. Anyone who put money on Dort scoring anywhere near 30 points is a very brave and a very rich man indeed. And if all this wasn't enough, Harden finished the night by putting his crippling struggles aside to make the game-winning play on the defensive end. Harden's block was a brilliant and likely franchise-altering play. Harden blocked Lou Dort's potential game-winning three-pointer, which ended up saving the day for the Rockets. It was also one of the best blocks of his career. Up by 1 with time winding down, Harden flew in to block Dort's potential game winner, and the ball came straight back to Dort. The rookie tried to throw it off Harden to save the possession, but ended up throwing it between his legs. But before we continue, please remember that if you've enjoyed the video thus far and can't wait to see the #1 most thrilling NBA playoff moments of the last 5 seasons, then please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. 11. Kawhi Leonard hit a shot from the corner over Joel Embiid at the buzzer that bounced off the rim 4 times before falling in to give the Toronto Raptors a 92-90 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday night in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinal series. It was the first winning buzzer beater in a Game 7 in NBA history. The ball bounced to the top of the backboard, hit the near side of the rim again, then the other side twice before going through, setting off wild celebrations as the Raptors advanced to the Eastern Conference Final for the second time in 4 seasons. 10. Very rarely does so much happen in 0.5 seconds. There's a whole lot to admire here. Kyle Lowry's poise when Nick Nurse's play to get a shot for Pascal Siakam or Fred VanVleet didn't work out, throwing a centimeter-perfect pass over the tallest man in the NBA to the far side of the court. OG Anunoby's ability to catch and shoot in half a second, draining the shot despite having to drastically speed up his release. Lowry's reaction in the aftermath. Anunoby's stone-faced expression and walk-off after draining the winner, which he later said was because he didn't shoot trying to miss. 9. Well, this was one way to respond to being without your co-star while down 2-1 against 2 of the best defenders in modern NBA history, not to mention being called a pussy-ass white boy. After the Utah Jazz's Game 3 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder, Russell Westbrook guaranteed that he would shut down Ricky Rubio in Game 3. Despite Westbrook's vow, the Thunder had no answers for the Jazz in the second half of a physical 113-96 Jazz win. It was a prime example of playoff basketball. What a game! Where do you even start in a game that featured multiple technical fouls, an ejection, Mitt Romney taunting Westbrook, push-off P chants, and free Chick-fil-A? Thanks, Raymond Felton. After Rubio's triple-double in Game 3, Westbrook promised to shut down the Spaniard in the series' 4th installment. How would Westbrook make good on his promise? It didn't take long to answer that question as Rubio and the Jazz still destroy that poor OKC team.
A kill. And I've guarded a lot of people. And when I went home, when I told my friends that he is the best player in the NBA, hands down.
7. The Los Angeles Clippers' Patrick Beverley has made his mark on his team's first-round series versus the Golden State Warriors by going head-to-head with Kevin Durant. The Beverley-Durant battle took center stage in Game 1 as both players got tossed late in the 4th quarter. Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley were both ejected in the 4th quarter of Golden State's 121-104 win over the Los Angeles Clippers on Saturday after receiving double technical for their back-and-forth exchange. Steph Curry dribbled all the way underneath the basket, with LeBron James breathing down his neck in the 4th quarter of Game 6 of the NBA Finals. For whatever reason, Curry thought it was a good time to attempt a layup. James was right there to destroy the attempt. LeBron James was apparently in no mood to joke. James blocked Curry with authority, and it didn't end there. James then turned around, looked at Curry, and said something to him. Maybe it was something nice, but it probably wasn't very nice at all. James eventually shoved Curry out of the way, angering Klay Thompson, who also had some words for James. 5. Any doubts that Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray spent every waking moment of the hiatus working on their game was erased in this series. Mitchell's numbers were especially absurd, with averages of 36.3 points on 52.9 field goal shooting and 51.6% from beyond the arc. Crazier still, both players scored 50+ twice. That's 4 50-point performances in 7 games. Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson are the only other players in NBA history with multiple 50-point games in a playoff series. Other than Wilt Chamberlain, no one else has even had 2 50-point games across an entire playoff run. And going by game score, which calculates the overall value of a single game performance, Mitchell and Murray had 2 of the 5 best playoff performances of the past 20 years. And they did it in the same series. Madness. Absolute madness.
I can remember we were in Oakland. We went to their practice facility, the Golden State Warriors, and it was the one, Clay Thompson had started talking about how they were better than the Showtime Lakers. And,
I remember.
That was kind of a shot at his dad as well.
I
grew up with Clay.
Yes.
So we're going over the Bay Bridge, and that commentary is just still picking up. It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on all these social platforms.
Radio. Yep.
Oh, sports radio, everything.
Crazy.
And that's when Bron just said, he looked around and goes, you know what, guys? It's written. We're going to win tomorrow night. We're going to have a huge game. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to the last few minutes. We're not losing at home. Game 7, anything can happen. That's how it played out.
It's crazy.
It still gives me chills thinking about it.
No team had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals, and no one thought the Cleves could, especially against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. The Cavaliers ended up winning their next 2 games to force a Game 7 in the Oracle Arena in Oakland. LeBron James, however, would not go this far without coming out victorious. The game was close throughout, and was tied at 89 with 2 minutes left. Andre Iguodala grabbed a rebound off a Kyrie Irving miss and flew down the court with the ball. It seemed that the Warriors had a 2-1 advantage with Stephen Curry and Iggy driving at J.R. Smith. Iggy passed the ball to Curry, who immediately passed it back. Iggy went up for the finish when LeBron James came out of nowhere to pin the ball against the backboard. That layup could have changed the outcome of the game. The Warriors would not score another point for the remainder of the game, and thanks to Kyrie Irving's game-clinching shot, the Cavaliers completed the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. This was LeBron's best block of his entire career, and one of the reasons why he earned his 3rd Finals MVP. The block will forever be stapled to LeBron's legacy and was his biggest play in the biggest game of his career. 3. Damian Lillard is that dude. Lillard hit one of the most cold-blooded shots in NBA playoff history Tuesday night in Portland. A 37-foot three-pointer in Paul George's face at the buzzer to beat the Thunder 118-115 and send the Blazers to the Western Conference semifinals. Damian Lillard sent the Oklahoma City Thunder packing with one of the greatest shots in NBA history, and Dame also had arguably the greatest game-winner goodbye waves in the history of all sports. 2. LeBron James was born and raised in Akron, Ohio, and was drafted straight out of high school to his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron left Cleveland for Miami in 2010, breaking the hearts of all Cleveland fans. He then returned in 2014 and promised the city of Cleveland he would bring them a championship. The Cavaliers lost to the Warriors in the first season back in Cleveland, and the odds seemed more than impossible after the Cavaliers went down 3-1 to the Warriors. Thanks to Cleveland's chosen one, LeBron James, he willed them back to tie the series 3-3. LeBron James's block and Kyrie Irving's game-clinching shot sealed the unimaginable comeback for the Cavaliers. This was the most important victory in LeBron's entire career, bringing the Cavaliers' first championship to Cleveland. LeBron James ended a 52-year championship drought in Cleveland. Following the 93-89 victory, LeBron James expressed pure emotions, crying uncontrollably, giving the fans of Cleveland the most heartfelt speech ever, screaming, "Cleveland, this is for you."
Cleveland, this is for you.
1. Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals could have potentially been LeBron James's best finals game if the team had won. Game 1 was the most competitive Kevin Durant Warriors-Cavaliers game to date. LeBron's career-high 51-point dominant performance was overlooked by teammate errors. Every time the Warriors made a run, the Cavs had an answer. The game could have been over if George Hill made both of his free throws, but with 4.7 seconds left, Hill missed the second free throw and J.R. Smith grabbed the rebound. Game 1 was the famous J.R. Smith brain cramp game. JR grabbed the rebound and tried to run out the clock, thinking the game was tied instead of putting up a shot. The game went to overtime, and LeBron and the entire team was clearly frustrated and out of sync for the 5-minute OT period, where they lost by 10. The J.R. Smith error should not result in people overlooking LeBron's incredible game. LeBron posted 51 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. The King was in assassin mode and scored at will the entire night. He had to with the lack of talent his team had. This was LeBron's record-breaking 8th straight finals, and this was the worst team he single-handedly carried to the finals.